The southern Indian state of Karnataka has been shaken by disturbing allegations that have cast a dark shadow over one of its most sacred religious towns, Dharmasthala. A man who once worked as a cleaner at the centuries-old Manjunatha Swami temple came forward in July with claims that he had been forced to bury hundreds of bodies of women who were allegedly raped and murdered. According to his statement, some of the victims were minors, and the crimes were carried out within the town's temple premises or in surrounding areas before their remains were hidden. Dharmasthala, located in the district of Dakshina Kannada, is not an ordinary settlement. For generations, it has been a site of devotion, pilgrimage, and cultural influence. Every day, thousands of Hindu devotees and visitors arrive at the temple dedicated to Lord Shiva in his form as Manjunatha Swami. The temple is administered by the prominent Hegade family, who wield significant social, cultural, and even political influence in Karnataka. Virendra Hegade, the current hereditary administrator, is also a sitting member of parliament and recipient of the prestigious Padma Vibhushan, India's second highest civilian honor. When the allegations became public, they sent shockwaves through Karnataka and beyond. The man, whose identity has been withheld for safety reasons, appeared in court dressed in black robes and a hood, carrying with him a skull he claimed was retrieved from a burial site. His testimony, combined with physical evidence of skeletal remains later uncovered by investigators, prompted the state government to establish a special investigation team, SIT. For weeks, the SIT carried out excavations at sites identified by the man, recovering bone fragments and other remains, which are now undergoing forensic analysis. The case has spiraled into political controversy, with opposition parties accusing the ruling Congress government of either trying to smear a religious institution or failing to act decisively. The ruling party has maintained that it is committed to discovering the truth regardless of where it leads. As Home Minister G. Parameshwara pointed out, if the allegations prove false, the reputation of Dharmasthala will only be strengthened. But if they are true, justice must be served for the victims. On Saturday, however, the saga took another twist when the whistleblower himself was arrested for perjury. Police officials, speaking anonymously, suggested that the remains he had presented were not retrieved from the claimed sites. This arrest has complicated the narrative and raised further questions about whether his testimony was fabricated, manipulated, or part of a larger political and social conflict. At its heart, the case touches on sensitive issues of faith, justice, gender violence, and the credibility of whistleblowers. For a country that has long struggled with gender-based violence and the balance between faith and accountability, the Dharmasthala allegations represent a storm that mixes crime, politics, and religion in a deeply troubling way. The Dharmasthala case highlights one of the most difficult challenges modern India faces: how to reconcile respect for deeply rooted religious traditions with the need to investigate serious allegations of crime. The Manjunatha Swami Temple is not just a place of worship. It is a cultural institution that provides free meals to thousands, runs charitable initiatives, and attracts millions of pilgrims annually. Its reputation is tied not only to the spiritual lives of Hindus, but also to Karnataka's broader cultural identity. Allegations of mass rapes and burials within such a sacred space strike at the very heart of trust. Faith-based institutions are often held above reproach, and questioning them can be seen as an attack on religious freedom. However, the seriousness of the claims, combined with the discovery of human remains, means that ignoring or dismissing them would erode confidence in the justice system. The controversy has revealed a growing tension in India between protecting religious sentiments and ensuring accountability. While the temple administration has strongly rejected the allegations, calling them impossible and baseless, the SIT investigation is seen as a necessary step to maintain credibility. Whether the claims turn out to be true or false, the outcome will have far-reaching implications. If proven false, the case could be used politically to argue against those who defame Hindu institutions, if proven true, it would not only shatter faith in a sacred site, but also highlight failures in law enforcement and protection of women. The delicate balance between faith and justice is under global scrutiny, and Dharmasthala has become the symbol of this struggle. India has faced persistent criticism for its handling of gender-based violence. From the 2012 Delhi gang rape, which triggered mass protests, to countless unreported cases in rural areas, the country struggles with both prevention and accountability. The allegations emerging from Dharmasthala, if true, would represent one of the darkest chapters in this struggle. Systematic violence against women carried out within a place of supposed sanctity. The whistleblower claimed that women, some of them minors, were raped and murdered before being buried in secrecy. Even if his testimony is later discredited, the mere fact that such allegations are plausible reflects the depth of India's social crisis concerning gender safety. According to government data, tens of thousands of rape cases are registered annually, and activists say the actual number is far higher. This case also brings into focus the silencing of victims. If indeed hundreds of women were killed over decades, it reveals a chilling pattern of impunity where perpetrators were shielded by institutional power. On the other hand, if the allegations are proven false, it risks trivializing the lived trauma of real victims across India. Either way, the debate forces society to confront uncomfortable truths. Women's safety remains precarious, and religious institutions cannot be exempt from scrutiny. Globally, the case is being compared with past scandals in other faith traditions, where allegations of abuse within sacred institutions were long dismissed before being proven true. Dharmasthala, therefore, serves as both a test and a warning. How India responds will show whether it is serious about confronting violence against women, regardless of the perpetrator's identity. Beyond religion and gender violence, the Dharmasthala saga has quickly become a political battlefield. Karnataka's ruling Congress party ordered the creation of the SIT, positioning itself as committed to transparency. Yet opposition leaders, particularly from the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP), have accused the government of deliberately targeting a Hindu religious institution to undermine faith among devotees. This polarization reflects a broader national trend in India, where political parties weaponize issues of religion for electoral gain. The BJP has positioned itself as a defender of Hindu institutions, while the Congress insists on upholding law and justice without bias. With Karnataka being a politically sensitive state, the narrative around Dharmasthala has already spilled into debates within the Legislative Assembly. The arrest of the whistleblower complicates matters further. His detention for alleged perjury allows BJP leaders to argue that the entire controversy was a smear campaign. While Congress continues to insist that only a thorough investigation can reveal the truth, this tug-of-war risks overshadowing the seriousness of the underlying allegations. Such politicization is not unique to India. Globally, cases of religious institutions under scrutiny often become rallying points for conservative and liberal camps. However, in India, where religion is deeply intertwined with politics, the fallout can be even more intense. The political battle over Dharmasthala demonstrates how narratives can be reshaped not by evidence, but by ideological positioning. Ultimately, the victims, or alleged victims, risk being forgotten in this war of words. Unless political leaders prioritize truth and justice over points scoring, the Dharmasthala case may become less about accountability and more about narrative control. The path forward in the Dharmasthala case lies in forensic science and judicial scrutiny. The SIT has already recovered bone fragments and remains from multiple sites identified by the whistleblower. These materials are being tested in forensic laboratories to determine their age, identity, and whether they show signs of violence. Such evidence could either substantiate the man's claims or expose them as fabrications. Forensic science in India has historically been under-resourced, leading to delays in justice. In a case of this magnitude, transparency in forensic findings will be critical. If the remains prove to be consistent with the whistleblower's testimony, the investigation will escalate into one of the largest criminal inquiries in Karnataka's history. If they are inconsistent, it will raise troubling questions about why such allegations were made and whether there were motives of personal vendetta, political manipulation, or psychological distress. Beyond forensics, the judiciary will play a vital role. Courts will need to weigh the evidence impartially while being sensitive to the public's religious sentiments. Trials of this scale often take years, but given the attention, the judiciary may seek expedited proceedings. For the residents of Dharmasthala, the controversy has already inflicted damage. Pilgrims who once viewed the temple as a place of peace now approach it with unease. The administration, led by Virendra Hegde, insists on full cooperation with authorities, hoping to clear the institution's name. The broader question is whether India can use this case to strengthen trust in its institutions, both religious and judicial. The truth, whatever it may be, must emerge. Only then can the victims, if they existed, find justice, and only then can faith in Dharmasthala and in India's rule of law be restored.